Welcome to practice. We're going to begin on the floor. Another very humid day, hot and humid day here. So we're going to take a blanket and make a long fold, and that's going to go under the thighs. And if your blanket thin like mine is, you can even tuck the end in a little bit. So you really support under your femur bones or your thigh bones. You feel very supported in the hips. Soles of the feet together. Take the arms out wide. Hmm. Tuning into where the breath is entering and exiting your body, the nostril. Discerning any difference that you can between your in-breath temperature and humidity and your out-breath. And that slightly warmer out-breath, the humidified out-breath, gives a little hint of what has happened with the breath in the body. Travel through every cell. We have the chemical reaction of the breath, the physical movement of the body as we breathe, movement that happens whether we try to or not. But we can influence the health of the joints that move when we breathe, in the ribs and in the spine. So take some deep breaths and feel the ribs really move. Feel the spine moving up away from the floor and then back to the floor. We're going to keep a focus on that deep and satisfying breath and release your legs to neutral. So legs are bent, feet are hip width parallel. Just put your hands down, palms up beside you. As you breathe out now, we're going to press the lower back into the floor. And as you breathe in, lifting the lower back away from the floor. So we're trying to influence the joints that move anyway when we breathe, but we're taking them to maybe a new range of movement. So breathing as big as you can. Pressing the lower back as you exhale and lifting the lower back as you inhale. Beautiful. We're going to add an arm movement in now. As you lift your lower back and inhale, take the arms overhead and you'll feel more of the spine lift away from the floor. And then as you exhale, pressing every bone back to the floor. feeling the belly. Big breath, big movement of the joint. Beautiful. Hold your lower back pressing to the floor. And we're going to lift the feet just off the floor so you feel the core of the body starts to switch on. But let's see if we can stay really relaxed in the neck, the shoulders, the throat, and pressing the lower back. Good. And we'll just lift the feet up so the knees stay just out a little bit from the line of the hips and then bend them again. We're breathing, big breath, pressing the lower back. See how it wants to lift up. Keep engaging the front core. Beautiful. Release that one. We're going to take the arms out from the chest again. Bend the elbows. Now, we'll try to keep the backs of the hands and the elbows as close to the floor as your body allows. Let's just take a couple of breaths, relaxing that part of the body, the shoulders, around the chest and the heart. Okay, now we're going to keep the hands and elbows as close to the floor as your body can, but let's straighten the arms overhead. So you might need to keep working the backs of the hands towards the floor. Good, and then back into your cactus arm position. Take it slow, paying attention to how your shoulders feel. Notice if you're tensing, there's some kind of protection that's going on. Sometimes it can lead to injury, so really pay attention. Letting your shoulders be more relaxed, the armpits be more relaxed, the neck be more relaxed. Beautiful. Let's keep the arms in cactus arms and we'll try and relax the shoulders. You can even just wiggle around a little bit. We're going to do the legs again. So press the lower back, lift the feet off the floor. Your knees are out a little bit from the line of the hips, so it's hard work to hold the legs up. You might have noticed. Press your lower back, but we'll relax the throat, relax around the heart. Nice. Let's just push the feet away to straight legs and then bend the knees. Big breath. Keep the lower back pressing. Try to keep every bone engaged to the beautiful. Release your feet. Release your arm. And bring your hands onto your belly and notice that big breath. Good. Now we're going to bring the right knee into the chest and keep your knee in nice and close. And we're going to observe what it feels like to start to straighten that right leg. So you can hold behind your thigh or you can hold your leggings, the front of your leggings. Some people reach their foot. If you're reaching your foot, keep your head and your shoulders relaxed on the floor. Good. Now, what we come up against is the body saying, okay, that's it. That's the limit. That's all that we move. Let's take some of those big breaths. And seeing if that feeling of limit is just a perception. Maybe there's some room to take the leg a little longer, a little straighter. but keeping your knee close to your body. Good. Now, release your hands and try and hold your leg there. Good. Put your hands on the floor. We're going to draw a big circle with that straight leg. And when you get back to that full stretch, when the leg is closest to your torso, see if you can find that range of movement again. A nice big circle. Good. We're not using the hands, just the big breath and the awareness. Letting the body be more spacious and the other direction. Great. And then we'll release that leg. Nice work. Left knee into the chest. And then explore. Whoops. That's my mic. Explore straightening the leg. But what you're trying to do is have the optimal distance. So the closest distance of your knee, your left knee towards your chest or shoulder. So start exploring straightening and pay attention to that zone of real limitation, of resistance. And of course, we need resistance in the body. Otherwise, we'd be flaccid and injured all the time. So notice it, but also notice where sometimes it's the mind just overlaying onto the body what's possible. Oh, so when you find your easeful stretch, then you're going to take that leg, just put your hands down on the floor, into a big, big circle. And particularly pay attention when you get your leg back to that position when it's closest to your body. Where does it move to? Nice big circle. Feeling the work of the hip. Mine's a bit crunchy today. And then the other direction. Nice work. Alrighty, we're going to take the blanket now and put it underneath the sacrum. So sacrum, tailbone kind of area. And just put your legs out to straight and notice if there's any influence on stretching the front of the hips, the front of the thighs. So there may or may not be. All right, this is going to be a little bit technical. We're going to bend the leg, lift the hips, pull the blanket over so it's only under your left sacrum, and lean over, roll over to your left. You're going to bend your right leg behind you and take hold of your foot. Now, what we're going to try and do is a very relaxed stretch for the front of the right leg. So you're going to put your foot down on the floor and it'll be the top of the foot. So the top of the front of the toes are on the floor. Now, some people who can kneel comfortably, you can really bring the foot right up to underneath the right buttock. And then just see how you go rolling back so you're laying more symmetrically. You might find your knees up in the air like me because my quadricep on this side is pretty tight. Good, but you're just going to explore that stretch. So you still might be in quite a bent position and you might be rolled over to your left. You're tolerating where you can, where your body is safe to do so. Don't hurt your knees, of course. Maybe you're finding you can't get your foot on the floor. You could just be holding your toes. That's a really good way forward towards this posture. Okay, let's just take a couple more breaths here. Beautiful. Roll over to your left, release your right leg. Bring both legs back to bent. Lift your hip and slide your blanket across to just under the right hip bone. And then we just roll over to the right. And you bend your left leg behind you and see if you can reach back and take hold of the foot. So you might be hanging around here. You might be able to place the front of your toes or the tops of your toes down onto the floor into that kneeling position. The higher the foot is towards your back, then the more likely you'll reach back to a symmetrical position for the hip. Okay, so somewhere along that range of movement from rolling to the right to lying back on your back so that you're stretching in the front of your left leg. You might be able to put your right leg down straight. Just a couple more big breaths there. Beautiful. Bending in your leg, rolling over to your right side so you can release that leg with ease. Nice work. Take the blanket out from underneath you. Hug your knees into your chest. So we make quite a little back bend in the lower back with those strong front of the leg stretches. Relax there. Beautiful. We're going to roll over to the right side and all fours. Now we're going to take a lunge position, and you can put extra padding like that blanket under your knees if that makes it more doable, because we will be kneeling onto one knee. So I'm going to do that. And take your right leg forward. Ease the hips forward. So we're trying to feel that stretch. It'll be almost in the same spot in the front of the left hip here. And bring your hands down onto the floor. Now, yesterday we used a chair. If you're having trouble reaching the floor, you just can't find ease in your body with hands to the floor, then you could do this with your hands onto the seat of the chair, even resting your forehead onto the chair. So whole torso forward, and we're easing the hips forward. Try to keep your legs parallel to each other, even though one is forward, one is back. Beautiful. Now we're going to ease the hips back so that the front leg starts to straighten, and even lift up onto the heel and point your toes back towards you and bring your hips as close down towards your heel as you can. And we'll lift the breastbone, try to embed the bones of the spine forward. Beautiful. And let's come forward again. Oh, nice. Now from here, tuck your toes under of your left foot. Lift your knee away from the floor. We're going to lift the torso in a moment, so really prepare your feet and your legs. Lift the torso, lift the arms. We're in a long Virabhadrasana 1. Bring the arms back to the ears. Embed the shoulder blades forward and slide them down your back. And find that big breath. Beautiful. And then we're going to reach the torso forward. Bring your hands to the floor, but not your back knee. And then start to straighten your front leg. Now, again, we're going to encounter resistance. Good. Lucky for us. And pay attention to where that resistance is getting in the way, where it's necessary, noticing if there's a little more room to straighten without creating hardship through the spine. Beautiful. Now, you might have your blanket across your mat like me, so just pay attention as you step forward, lift up, and balance on your right foot. Ooh. Nice work. Let's bring the left foot in front. You can be onto your tiptoes. You can have the hands pressing and embedding the shoulder blades forward. You might be lifting the leg. You might be holding knee or foot. Challenging your balance. Beautiful. Now we're going to step that foot all the way to the back of the mat. So we're back into that lunge position. See how you go. Good. Hands down to the floor, knee to the floor. You might need to take your hands off the floor to step your right knee back and your left knee forward. Okay, so we're in a lunge again. Left foot forward. Bring the right hip forward. So we're trying to feel the stretch in the front of the right thigh or hip. Sometimes you might be feeling it in the right sacrum or maybe even somewhere else for you. But let's bring the bones of the spine forward, lifting the breastbone, enjoying each breath. Deep breath. Beautiful. Now we're going to ease the hips back and you're starting to straighten and stretch your front leg, your left leg. You can even lift the toes up off the floor and you use your hands where they make sense and we try to bring the hips back towards the heel. Nice work. Come forward again. We're going to tuck the toes under of the back foot and lift the back knee off the floor. Now you really need to take the weight, the awareness into the feet and the legs because we're going to lift the torso. Got quite a big distance between the feet for Virabhadrasana 1. Bring the arms up by the ears, draw the shoulder blades down. Spine moving forward and breathing. Beautiful. Bring the hands back down onto the floor. We're going to keep the back leg straight. We're going to start to straighten the front. To pay attention to where the body resists. We're not trying to be pushy, and we're definitely trying to keep an ease for the spine. Breathing the big breath and finding where that leg will stretch. Beautiful. Now, if your blanket's in the way, just don't trip over, and we're going to step forward, lift up, balance on the left leg. It's all stretchy now, so it's harder to balance. And then bring the right leg in front and take a challenge. So that might be your tiptoes on the floor, hands pressing, shoulder blades embedding forward. It might be lifting the leg high, holding the knee or holding the foot. Challenging your balance so you can feel the movement of balance. Hmm. Hmm. Nice work. And then releasing that side. We're going to step the right foot all the way back. We're in that lunge again. Good. And then take your left foot back and let's take child's pose. Just a little bit of standing. So human. And in child's pose, feel the big breath. Hmm. Nice work. Coming up. Now, we're going to kneel up again. It's a little bit tricky to do this posture without props. So normally in class, I have a few things like block to hold onto at the side. But what we're going to do is keep the torso forward so we can put our hands on the floor. We're going to take the right foot forward, put your hands on the floor to support, and you need to wiggle your foot forward on your sticky mat so that you can be on the heel of that foot, but have quite a big distance between your front foot and your back foot. Now, this is a preparation for a posture called Hanumanasana. Hanuman being the god of legend who, jumping from Sri Lanka to India, footprint made the Himalayas. So a less poetic name is front split. But let's see, let's examine what's going on. We're holding the hips up because we're nervous about that stretch. So if you bend your front leg a little bit more, bring the hips forward. So find the front of the left hip. Good. Now point your right toes away from you so the hamstring stretch is not so strong. And start to straighten that leg as much as you can. Good. And only if it feels okay, you can start to bring the toes, the right toes back towards you. And eventually we would look to bring the torso perpendicular to the floor. Beautiful. All right, let's release that side. If you have a shiny floor, you can put a sticky padding down underneath your knees and put a blanket on the shiny floor, and then you can slide your front foot out. Makes it easier. All right, let's try the second side. Left foot out in front, but we're going to reach forward so we can put our hands to the floor. And you're going to start to wiggle your left foot out in front. And you keep your toes pointing away from you. It won't be as intense. All right, so just have a look what you're doing. And likely, like me, you're protecting your hips from the stretch. So you haven't got your hips forward. So let's forget about the front leg. We'll bend it so it's comfortable enough. And bring the hips forward until you can find that stretch in the front of your right thigh, like it again. Nice work. All right, and then proceed wiggling out your left foot as far as it'll go. Keep the hips, the toes pointing forward. Good. And when you've found that range of movement, that resistance, where the stretch really is, find your big breath. And see if the toes will forward. You don't have to do that last part. It's pretty intense. Ah, nice work. And we'll slide that foot in. Getting all tangled up here. Beautiful. And then we're going to lay back down. So we've been looking for that stretch in the front of the hips, the hip flexors, keeping them flexible, also keeping them strong with our balances. Let's take the hands by the sides, palms down, and bone by bone, lifting the spine away from. Press the feet, squeeze the buttock muscles towards each other, lift the thighs. Oh, long neck. And as you come down, keep the legs active and lower down bone by bone. Ah, such a nice feeling. Okay, now you can just stay in that kind of comfortable range of movement here. You can make it stronger if you want to try heels in closer to the body. So you even to the point where you're only on the balls of the feet, really. Good, but keep your legs parallel. Good, and then we're using the leg muscles powerfully. So press the feet, lift the thighs, squeeze the buttocks towards center. And lifting each bone. And when you get to the top, just check that your hair's not caught and making your neck short. So neck nice and long. Oh, and feeling the breath. The big breath. And then lowering down, bone by bone. That beautiful support of the floor. All right, there's one more and it's going to get stronger again. So you might be quite happy with the ones that you're doing, so you can repeat. Or bring your left heel, your right leg. So we're asking a lot more power from the right leg, right side now when we lift. So you'll feel the core of the body engage. So powerfully using your right leg, your right buttock, really lifting, try to keep the hips level to the floor. And then lowering down. As you release, just double check that your neck is nice and relaxed. If you have long hair, it gets caught. I think in all my years of yoga, this is the first time I've had longer hair, so now I can empathize. Okay, bring the right heel to your left knee. So we want that power in the left side of the body. Pressing to the left foot. Ooh, lift the left thigh. Squeeze the left buttock muscle, gluteus muscles. Beautiful. Lift the hips so that they're level to the floor. Lift the chest. Feel the big breath. Long, relaxed neck. And then lowering down. Bone. Lovely. Put your feet back so your knees are comfortably bent. Feet hip width parallel, legs parallel. Let's try our knee into the chest again. Close as you can and start to straighten that leg. Now we're a little bit more warmed up. Finding a more relaxed. Good. And when you've found your biggest stretch, then try taking your left leg straight along the floor as well. If that doesn't work, keep it Now we're going to hold on somewhere, so maybe behind your thigh or your leggings, and take that right leg towards the floor on the right side. You might find that there's opportunity for a re-stretch because we've shifted the emphasis across that muscle group behind the thigh, more to the inside fibers, the inner edge of the thigh. So discovering. Beautiful. And then across your body, try to keep that idea of the knee as close to your chest as you can. Across your body to the left side. And we're going to add a little twist here. First, keep both sides of the sacrum flat on the floor. So you can feel that influence in the back. Maybe opportunity for re-stretching. Okay, and now we're going to roll the whole lower body to the left side. Keep your right shoulder blade, though, on the floor. So you just roll as far as your back allows. You can turn your right arm, so you're on the back of your hand, and you can look over the right arm and find your big breath. Even though you've got your hand helping, be really aware of the core of your body as you lift your leg back to center. Oh, nice work. And then releasing that side. Just lay for a moment with your legs both out, close your eyes, and maybe discern the difference between one side of your pelvis and leg, the other side of the pelvis and the other leg. Beautiful. Bring both legs back into comfortable bend, parallel hip width. Left leg in, knee nice and close. Very relaxed. We're going to take that relaxed way of doing this posture, finding the stretch, approaching it in a relaxed way. The main thing you're trying to do is keep your knee as close to the chest as you can. That's the range of movement we're trying to influence. Beautiful. Now, left leg is going to go out to the left, and you might find that there's an opportunity to re-stretch because we're going to shift the emphasis in those big muscles of the hamstring. You feel it more on the inside edge of the thigh. Beautiful. And then back up to center and swapping how you're holding so you can take your leg across your body. Now, at first, keep your left sacrum on the floor. Where do you feel the opening of that lobe? Tends to be a bit more passive, this position, because the leg is heavy and you find a little more space in the left sacrum. Beautiful. And then we're going to let the lower body roll all the way to the right. I forgot to straighten the forelegs, didn't I? Try to keep your left shoulder blade down and looking in that direction. Oh, yes. Now, when we lift up, think of the core of the body. Really feel it engage. So the work of lifting the leg is shared by so many muscles that there's no pressure on those little ones between the bones of the spine. Beautiful. Okay. If you would like to stay for Shavasana, that'll be another 10 minutes. And you could lay your legs out to straight. If you need to finish your practice, rolling gently to your right side. coming up to sitting. And namaste to you. Shavasana people, as you check in to how your body sits along the floor, noticing if you need a little bit of support somewhere, like under your thighs, and that would make your lower back more relaxed. Like the back of your head, which just might feel nicer, or it might help your neck feel more comfortable. To consider taking support that you need. And then find the weight of your body supported. When you start really being able to connect to your body, to the beautiful feedback that we get from the body to the brain, you notice that there are places that habitually hold tension. It's just become a habit. So finding those old friends. And seeing if that tension is something that you could let go of. And we're going to do that mind-body exercise with each place in the body, as mentioned. Bringing the focus to that part of the body. Notice if there is tension. Feel if it's something you could let go of. Use the physical letting go of the breath to help. The metaphorical letting go. Begin with your toes. The soles of your feet. The arches. Your heels. And the tops of your feet. And your ankles. Lower leg. Knee. Thigh. Hip. Buttocks. Around your sacrum. The left lower back. The right lower back. The left middle back. The left the shoulder blade. The right middle back. The right shoulder blade. The right shoulder and the left shoulder. The back rib, sides of your ribs, front ribs, space around your heart, shoulders, armpit, upper arm, elbow, forearm, wrist, palm, thumb, and fingers. The left side of your neck, the right side of your neck, and throat. The base of the skull and scalp, forehead, around your eyebrows and between them, around your eye, nose, the mouth, and tongue, palate, throat, jaw, ears, whole body breathing. Breath by breath. Feel the weight of your body supported by the floor of your home, the foundation, the earth. Feel you're part of the great breath. Every other living being in this moment. And with compassion, self-love, gently moving yourself out of stillness. And bending in your arms and your legs so you can roll to your right side. And when you're ready, come up to sitting. Bringing your hands over your heart. Namaste.